The battle in West City was far from over. Smoke and dust enshrouded the buildings, tinting the sky with a gloomy haze that made the whole city seem submerged in the heavy breath of wartime chaos. The golden-horned insect lord swung a straight punch at Am-1. Am-1 did not dodge, letting the fist strike his face. The creature roared miserably. Even a single blow staggered it. Suddenly, the golden-horned insect lord's eyes flared when it saw something more horrifying than itself. Its whole body froze, its mouth forming sounds it couldn't utter, as if trying to speak but unable to. This is... Crack, an ultrasonic blast erupted. Am-1's skull instantly exploded, brain matter scattering everywhere. But the flesh fragments were immediately reconnected by thin, red-black filaments like a web, unhindered by any power. In an instant, everything reassembled, coiling tightly around the golden-horned insect lord's fist. It panicked, realizing something was wrong. His flesh was invading my body. The shell that had just undergone its third molt was instantly corroded by the bizarre mass of flesh. The golden-horned insect lord did not hesitate to sever its own hand. Its hind wings fluttered, quickly creating distance. Alien creature, how far can you extend that reach? Before you is merely a lure for my true body. Am-1 laughed grotesquely and asked, "Do you know the lanternfish?" Boom! The ground split open, and a gigantic mouth like a blood basin, hundreds of meters wide, rose from the earth, roaring. The golden-horned insect lord hovered in midair, realizing it had fallen into a trap, helpless to watch the world sink into eternal darkness. In an instant, the enormous tooth-filled mouth swallowed the golden-horned insect lord whole. Earth and rock were flung in all directions, as the area trembled violently under the tremendous shock. The giant mouth spun in midair, devoured the golden-horned insect lord, then transformed into a sinewy stomach that enveloped Am-1's body. Only heaven knows how he managed to shove something so large into himself. Indeed, a overlord-class creature, Am-1 could not digest it immediately. The thing still writhed inside the deformed body, making him feel 2 parts discomfort and 8 parts exhilaration. True to its lord-class nature, it could not be absorbed at once and was still struggling within him. Now was the golden moment to retreat. Old Mu held his breath, careful not to make a sound, whispering in a voice so low it blended with the wind. "Take advantage of this. Go quickly." Old Mu handed Chen Tianwu to Dai Kai Ming, who had fainted from exhaustion, then urged hastily, "Take Director Chen and run, quickly." However, Dai Kai Ming hesitated, his eyes full of worry as he looked at Old Mu. Hope of escape seemed to flare and nearly die. Am-1 still watched Old Mu's group try to flee, a contemptuous smile spreading across his face. He stepped toward the two slowly, inhaling the scent of fear emanating from them, thinking, "You are perfect as dessert after my meal." Suddenly his expression stiffened, as if every reaction had been blocked. A choked "A" escaped, trembling and incomplete. From the east of West City, a huge azure light flared. The tremendous energy was ostentatiously powerful, hurtling toward him. The air repeatedly detonated, and the cloud layer was cleft by a green-blue meteor, heralding unparalleled force. As Dai Kai Ming and Old Mu struggled to lead their teammates in a desperate run, they suddenly noticed something unusual. Old Mu blurted, "The energy is too strong. Isn't that another overlord?" Dai Kai Ming worried. "It's heading this way." The booming impact drew closer and closer. Although Dai Kai Ming had semi-grandmaster level vision, he only glimpsed a streak of blue falling from the sky before that after-image slammed directly into Am-1. When the two objects collided, a fierce wind from the blue silhouette swept down, howling. Am-1's body clearly bore the oppressive force of that tremendous energy, causing him extreme discomfort. Immediately, an explosion thundered, the shock so powerful it seemed to tear everything apart, dragging space itself into a moment of mad tremor. At that moment, Old Mu stretched his arms forward, sternly instructing Dai Kai Ming, who was bracing under the enormous pressure, "Protect Director Chen well." Dai Kai Ming had no idea what terrible creature was approaching. His heart felt squeezed by a giant hand, like a lamb facing a tyrannosaur, oppressed down to his jeans, almost unable to move. Is it an overlord, or is it aiming straight at that monster? Before Dai Kai Ming, the rubble of the building that had borne the battle between Chen Tianwu and the golden-horned insect lord had completely vanished, leaving only swirling dust from the impact. Crashing impacts echoed throughout the entire city, as building after building collapsed into rubble, smoke billowing across West City. Yi forced his way closer to Yin-1, blasting straight through 3 kilometers of office towers. His voice tightened with fury. We thought you had devoured the Lord, that you were on our side. But now you target Director Chen and his team, so I can't ignore you. Dazed, Am1 hadn't time to react before being hit like a missile, driven back as Yi. He unleashed a barrage of kicks as powerful as nuclear energy, striking his body relentlessly. His blue pupils watched Am1's body disintegrate and crumble. The black and red matter oozing from within disgusted him. He shouted, "This stuff makes me sick." Rage surged. He bent and delivered the finishing move. Mystic Godzilla, heart-severing core-crushing fist. Atomic energy stained the killing intent with blinding light. Yi. He thrust his right hand forward like a colossal electric current from a rocket bay, launching a devastating punch into Am1's face that unleashed absolute destructive power and seared his whole body. Am1's head was crushed by the overwhelming force in an instant and immediately incinerated by high-energy particles. After the mid-air explosion, he managed only a few weak sounds. A. His torso was nearly obliterated, flung outward by the residual blast wave. But it didn't end there. With the advantage, he pursued relentlessly, like death come for a life. Determined to annihilate his foe, he curled his lips in disdain. "You won't die that easily." Yi. He continued his assault. From the battle-scarred, uneven ground, He kicked off hard and shot into the air. He grabbed Am1's battered body, which looked no more substantial than a rag. He poured more power in, driving the energy stream as his body rocketed up to the highest cloud layer. From afar, he resembled a rocket of unleashed force, streaking into the sky at terrifying speed. At an altitude even he couldn't precisely gauge, he suddenly roared, his voice booming through the clouds. "Earth, toss." Boom boom the instant He hurled Am1. 3 rings of strange air erupted in midair. Am1, like a plane gone out of control, nosedived toward the ground. When his fleshy body struck, the kinetic energy detonated violently like an incendiary bomb, shockwaves rippling everywhere. The ground within hundreds of meters collapsed deep. Am1 fell headfirst, disintegrating into fragments until he became a puddle of mush, the dust slowly settling. Only then did He slowly set his feet back on the ground. The system flashed a notification. Infinite Monster Template, Host. He. Template. Mad Trace. Godzilla. Compatibility. 100%. Flame General Form unlocked. Please use with caution. He stood tall on the ground, his brand new nano armor gleaming, looking insanely cool and drawing awed stares from everyone. Crackle, 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 large swathes of black and red fluid slowly coalesced, and in the blink of an eye, they intertwined into a humanoid shape. From the ground, they wriggled upward, tentacle fibers moving and absorbing one another according to some mysterious pattern no one understood. Despite the heavy blows, it didn't die, tenacious as a leech. Am1 slowly regenerated, recovering while absorbing the golden-horned insect lord. Am1's body gradually took shape and he sneered. "Huh, your attack was so strong it stunned me. Since I was born, I've never been crushed like that." He hadn't expected this turn. He flinched and stared straight ahead. Am1, misshapen like a demon from a wicked sacrificial rite, crawled out of the blood pool. He was still dazed after Yi's thunderous strike. Heh. Thank you. That attack sped up my digestion. Now I possess the genes of that Lord-class fiend. In return, I'll let you watch awake as I devour your body piece by piece. He rasped, voice grating.